Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Marcie Kobriger. You can see the wind was so strong it actually tore the top right off of this pine tree. But would he make it clear that he's actually not a Democrat?
Don't know what John Buckstaff's going to do until John Buckstaff does it.
Well, you sent out a letter with John Buckstaff's name in it.
Yep.
And police are telling us a 15-year-old student had been holding 23 of his classmates and a teacher hostage since before the school day ended at 3 o'clock. State Supreme Court Justice David Prosser says reports he placed his hands around another justice's neck during an argument in her office are not true.
The club will remain closed until the lights come back on. But with no money coming in, the owner says she has no idea when she'll be able to make a payment to get the power restored. The death toll from the massive tornado that ripped through Joplin, Missouri is now up to 139 people.
Marcie Kobriger joins us live from Valders to explain this. Marcie.
Yeah, Cammie, that storm tore through Valders just before 11:30 this morning, packing golf ball-sized hail and winds reportedly up to 50 miles per hour. Now you can see the wind was so strong it actually tore the top right off of this pine tree, and right across the yard over here, you can see that tree limb was blown down, just narrowly missing that tree house. Well, no injuries and minor damage was reported. The storm certainly caused some shaken nerves.
We looked out the windows and all of a sudden it got so dark and raining so hard you couldn't even see the street.
Stenzel's yard looks like many others in Valders, broken and battered. But wind and hail actually pelted this construction worker who was directing traffic on 151 when the storm hit.
Very scary. It was really intense. I actually hid behind the tree here, and then when the branches started snapping off of that, I went to the bank.
This young driver was also attempting to take cover. She pulls up to the pump at the Valders Cenex station but is met by strong winds that blow her car door wide open, and she's sucked right out of the view of the surveillance camera. She was shaken up but otherwise fine. Meanwhile, authorities are shaken up over how quickly the strong storm popped up.
Came up real quick. The weather forecast, the weather we put out a warning, and in a matter of a couple minutes it was here.
Emergency fences still line Oakwood Haven. The smell of fire still lingers in the air. But what remains isn't what concerns 19 residents displaced by the May 25th blaze. They're still thinking about what was lost.
All my clothes that I had in there, my beds, I had twin beds, and they said there was just rubble, there was nothing.
More than a month later, the details of tearing the building down are still being worked out, as are the details of rebuilding many of the residents' lives. The 19 people who lived here lost many everyday items, which many are still struggling to replace.
I don't have no TV yet, and I don't have my laptop yet.
98-year-old Ethel Manick is counting her blessings in items retrieved from the fire, like the cookie jar her husband bought her more than 70 years ago and a glass given to her parents as a wedding gift. For those other things that were lost and can be replaced, 2 women are stepping up to help Ethel and all of the fire victims.
Almost all of them are elderly or disabled, and they needed a little help, so that's what we're trying to do.
Ginger DeShane and Amy Grandaw are organizing a July 17th fundraiser to benefit the fire victims. Their goal is to raise $11,000 to give $1,000 to the residents of each unit destroyed.
I'm hoping that we give them enough to get started again, to give them hope, to feel like they can move on and go from here.
And moving forward from the fire is something Ethel says she's ready to do at her own pace.
When you get my age, you don't get worried too much about tomorrow. You just take it one, sometimes only an hour at a time.
In Crivets, Marcie Kobriger, Action 2 News. Police reportedly start narrowing their search for a woman who disappeared nearly 20 years ago, and they have more questions for the man who says he kidnapped and killed Lori Deppes. It's our top story on Action 2 News at 5:30. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Marcie Kobriger. A report published today in the Appleton Post-Crescent says police spent 3 days digging for evidence of Deppes in a remote area in south central Wisconsin. Deppes disappeared from a Town of Menasha apartment parking lot in 1992. Late last year, Larry Dwayne Hall confessed to kidnapping and killing her when police interviewed him in federal prison. Hall says he bought a t-shirt from Deppes at the store where she worked in the Fox River Mall and followed her to her boyfriend's apartment. He told police he then kidnapped and killed her. According to the report, Hall gave police an idea of where Deppes and 3 other bodies could be found. Police marked that spot last November, but had to wait until the snow melted to search further. When police returned, the Post Crescent says they dug by hand, then began using a bobcat to excavate a larger area. The report also says they used a ground-penetrating radar to assist in the search. Police did not disclose the exact location, but said they would be returning to dig further. They also told the Post Crescent that they plan to return to North Carolina to re-interview Hall in his prison cell. Well, state police say they arrested the mayor of Marinette for driving under the influence. State police say 68-year-old Robert Harbeck was arrested shortly before 4 yesterday afternoon after he was involved in a single vehicle crash at Hall Avenue and Haiti Street in Marinette. State police say they were asked to make the arrest because of the relationship between Harbeck and the city. Harbeck's blood alcohol level was over the limit, according to police. However, they would not say what the level was. They also say this was his first OWI arrest. Marinette County Jail officials say Harbeck was in custody yesterday but was released last night to a responsible party. Harbeck was re-elected to his second term as mayor of Marinette in 2009. His current term expires in 2012. Well, this holiday weekend is a busy one on Wisconsin's waterways. That's why DNR wardens are out checking boats, but what they're specifically checking for might surprise you. Molly Hendrickson explains. A 27-year-old Green Bay man could face a laundry list of charges after police say he hit a pedestrian, fled the scene, then later led officers on a high-speed chase. Green Bay officers were called to the 1700 block of 12th Avenue at about 3:15 this morning, where a motorist struck a pedestrian. Police say the motorist apparently believed that pedestrian was someone he had been in a fight with earlier in the evening. Then, at about 3:45 this morning, police spotted the suspect vehicle. The driver took off. Police followed and stopped the vehicle a few blocks away in the 800 block of North Locust Street. Police say the male suspect then took off on foot. A perimeter was set up, and just after 5 this morning, the suspect was found and arrested. Police say no one was injured in the chase. The pedestrian in the initial hit-and-run incident received minor injuries. The suspect could be faced with attempted homicide along with a number of drug and alcohol-related charges. Now, shortly after that incident, Green Bay police were called to report of a car hitting a house. It happened on Newberry Avenue near Henry Street. Police have released few details about the incident, but say a disturbance between 2 motorists caused a collision, which knocked this Cadillac into a house. Police issued citations but made no arrests and say no one was injured. The Sheboygan County Sheriff's Office says a woman was critically injured when she fell off the bed of a pickup truck. It happened at about 7:15 last night near Sumac Road in the town of Linden. Officials say she was sitting on the bed of the truck, holding on to part of a stock car when the wind caught it, blowing her off the truck. She was airlifted to a Milwaukee hospital. Officials don't plan on filing any charges against the driver. The Green Lake County Sheriff's Department SWAT team is fitted for a new piece of equipment that will help them on the job. An Oshkosh company is donating the equipment as a way to give back to the community that's supported it for almost 60 years. Emily Matesic explains. Professional hearing and audiology clinics isn't just giving to the Green Lake County SWAT team, it's hoping to fit about 10 teams with custom earpieces this year. Well, as the Brewers try for another win in Minnesota, word that 3 members of the Brew Crew were selected as starting members of the All-Star team. More coming up just a little bit later in sports. All right, some beautiful fireworks forecast tonight and tomorrow night for us.
Yeah, we really lucked out with this holiday weekend.
We really did.
Yeah.
Thanks very much, Brad. Well, 4th of July festivities are in full swing in the Fox Cities with music, food, and a little bit later tonight some fireworks. Taki Ono joins us live from Appleton's Memorial Park where all the action is happening. Taki? All right, thanks very much, Taki. For a list of all the fireworks and 4th of July festivities going on in Northeast Wisconsin this weekend, just go to our website, that's WBAY.com, and click on featured links. And Mike Fink joins us now with sports. Thanks for watching. We'll see you at 10.